The New York Jets have just made two sneaky moves that we have to break down. So what's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Jets Digest. No intro video today because I'm a little bit late for work, but if you appreciate me making these videos, instead of going to my 9 to 5, only 37.8% of viewers are subscribed to the channel. So please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a ton. But hopping into the news that we got coming out this morning, the New York Jets have signed offensive lineman Samuel Jackson, and they have also activated linebacker Aaron Smith from the NFI, the non-football injury list. Let's break this down. Samuel Jackson says offensive lineman. He's 6'6", 325 pounds. That is the size of an NFL tackle. So I think he's a tackle, not a guard, but full transparency, no clue what position this guy plays. I've never heard of him, and no one will tell me what position he plays. Looking at his roster from college, it doesn't tell you. No one on Twitter will tell you what position this guy plays. However, yesterday they did go ahead and cut one of their tackles. So I imagine this is the replacement here. Coming from the Jet Press, the Jets released offensive tackle Obinna Eze today on camp report day. Eze was the team's IPP program player on their practice squad last year, international program player. I'd expect UDFA rookie offensive lineman Leander Vigeland to take his place this year. The program allows the team to carry a 17th international player on their practice squad. So Leager is a really, really big offensive tackle. We now are going to bring in more large offensive tackles to play offensive line, obviously, but this is consistent with what the New York Jets are doing with their offensive linemen and with the guys are bringing in. They're bringing in players who maybe aren't the best players right now, but they're all really, really big guys, which means they have a higher ceiling because no matter how good anyone is at playing offensive line, you can't teach them to be 6'6" like Samuel Jackson, who we just signed. You can't teach them to be as big as Leander Vigeland. Right now, I'm forgetting about what his actual measurements are, but you can't make guys grow, and football is a big person's game. You got to be big and strong if you're going to be working out on that offensive line. We know the New York Jets want to run the football like crazy this season, and we're going to need big and strong offensive linemen to go ahead and do that. Now, if the name Obinna Eze sounds a little bit familiar to you, yes, this is the star. I don't want to call him that, but one of the focuses of the 2022 NFL Hard Knocks featuring the Detroit Lions. Maybe it was 2023, whatever. Lions, Hard Knocks. This was the international offensive lineman that they focused on. He was the guy who was a big dude, so the ceiling was in theory very high, but he couldn't get his footwork down, and that is one of the reasons what led to him not making the Lions, and then now getting cut by the New York Jets on this morning. But talking more about this player that we just brought in, Samuel Jackson, we have a quote here from NewYorkJets.com. Jackson, 6'5", 325 pounds, started 45 games in 6 college seasons at the University of Central Florida. The 2-year team captain, started all 14 games in 2022 and was named a first-team All-American Athletic Conference selection by Pro Football Focus. Jackson originally signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars as an undrafted free agent in 2023 and was waived by the team prior to the 2023 season. He most recently played with the Houston Roughnecks of the UFL. Now, this is good to see, as we know that we want to pick up guys that even if they aren't able to make an NFL roster, they're still willing to go out and play football in any capacity that they can. That means this is a player who loves playing football and is going to play it no matter how much money he's getting paid. So he's just going to go out and do what he loves, and that's the exact correct mentality of player that we want to be bringing into the New York Jets locker rooms. Guys that, if they're not getting a ton of playing time, they're not going to complain. They're just going to put their head down and be ready for when that opportunity comes, because offensive linemen get hurt a lot. We see it all the time. Guys getting rolled up by sometimes their own teammates, sometimes defensive players, but it's a dangerous position to play with those lower body injuries. And when we saw with Mekhi Becton, we can see one lower body injury can make someone's career absolutely spiral out of control. So you can never have enough offensive linemen. Love the fact that Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are looking to flesh out not only the top end talent that the offensive line brings to the table by spending that first round pick on Armand Membo, but they're also making sure we have one of the deeper offensive lines in the NFL. And also today is the first day of training camp where people are actually playing, but Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about how can we make this roster better So every single day, this team, these guys are just making sure that they are making this team as strong as it possibly can. And that's the absolute correct way to go ahead and change the culture that has unfortunately plagued our New York Jets for the past couple of years. But as you heard me hint at before we go into the next signing, we're going to take a quick look at the New York Jets depth chart at offensive line. When we're looking at tackles, it's a little bit light. We have obviously our starters with our back-to-back first-round picks in Olu Fashanu and Armand Membo, who I have extremely high hopes for. If you don't have extremely high hopes for them, I'm not sure what you are doing. But then behind them, we have Carter Warren and then Chukwuma Okorafor. Chukwuma, Patriots fans said a lot of bad things about this player. We're going to go ahead and see what he actually brings to the table for us. Carter Warren, a fifth-round pick out of Pitt from 2 years ago. I like him, but I'm not sure he's actually ready to fully start. Now we know Max Mitchell, who is currently slotted as our backup right guard. He has played some tackle, him hailing from the University of Louisiana a couple of years ago as well. He is a player who I actually think has handled himself pretty admirably when he's came in on short notice to play tackle, but there is no question 4 tackles on the depth chart. If this is how Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are deciding to make the depth chart and this is who they want playing at each position, we absolutely do not have enough tackles, which is why it's important that they are looking to bring in more tackles, and why when we cut someone like Obinna Eze, even if he is just a practice squad tackle, we make sure that we go ahead and replace him with another tackle by signing Samuel Jackson. Now, in the beginning, I did hint at another move that was made, and now Aaron Jones, a running back out of SC State from the FCS, someone who was hailed as a potential breakout candidate this year for the New York Jets, a speedy off-ball linebacker, a little bit undersized, but got a lot of speed. That's something that Jets fans can be excited about. He has also came off the non-football injury list. I haven't been able to find whether it's been an injury or an illness that has kept him on that list, but even the NFL, or even the New York Jets website did not even say what it was. They said Rookie Smith receives an NFI designation due to an illness or injury he sustained outside an NFL game or practice on July 19th. So very cryptic, but sounds like he's better now. After leading the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, the MEAC, with 92 tackles, 11 for a loss, and adding 5 sacks, Smith posted a 4.58 40-yard time and South Carolina State's Pro Day. They're misspelling, not mine. He signed with the New York Jets on May 9th. That coming courtesy of the New York Jets website themselves. Now, I made a full video breaking down the strengths and weaknesses of this player, but I'm going to go ahead and give you the spark notes right now. Aaron Smith was undrafted, was going to be either a 7th round pick or an undrafted free agent. I was looking at his measurements. I certainly thought, even with the speed, I believed he was going to be a UDFA, but it doesn't matter how you get to the NFL team. It matters what you do when you're there. This depth chart is wide open. Now, I've been going back and forth with someone in the comments right now. Pat, there is no way Quinnen Williams is not a starting linebacker for the New York Jets this season. He was just voted in the NFL poll coming from scouts, execs, and maybe it was GMs, something like that. They voted Quinnen Williams as the 10th best linebacker in football. Someone ranked him as high as 2. Aaron Smith is not taking his job. But let's talk about what else Aaron Smith can do. He's currently on our depth chart as a strong side linebacker, which makes sense given his skill set, which is really fast and picking up a ton of tackles. Although he is a little bit undersized to be that strong side linebacker, and Quinnen Williams is our strong side linebacker. So I think the way this guy can make an impact is either trying to turn into an Isaiah Simmons type of tweener where he can move between safety and linebacker and kind of play I want to whisper it, but he's signed to a team now, a Jamal Adams type role for this team, or he would have to be moved to weak side linebacker where he will be have more coverage responsibilities and less tackling and run stuffing responsibilities. That's where I think the pathway is more likely for a player with this guy's strengths and weaknesses. Although I am excited to see what he's going to do in the preseason. I have no doubt he will be getting a lot of snaps in the preseason because Aaron Glenn wants to see exactly what he has in these guys. We have a lot of the starting lineup locked down. When it comes to the depth chart being wide open and not everyone's spot is safe, like no one's spot is safe, but we have a really good idea of who is filling like 30 of the 33 spots. The spots that are kind of up for grabs, will be like that center spot. Maybe like everyone loves to talk about how unsafe Breece Hall's role is, which makes sense because he plays running back, which is the least important position on the team. But at the same time, doesn't make sense because he's a really good running back. So not sure if that position's up for grabs or not. Although, so when they're saying that, every spot's up for grabs, they do mean that, but just let's focus and let's trust our eyes. When we see guys playing really well, let's just go ahead and don't pencil them into the starting lineup, pen them into the starting lineup. We can say for a fact that Quinnen Williams is going to be a starter, and our good players from 2 years ago, don't forget about last year, but don't put too much stock into one down year where the coaches absolutely ruined the team. Everyone played badly last year. It doesn't mean they're bad players. Look at 2 years ago, the guys who are playing well, they're going to be the starters. Do not think just because the roster is completely open, that means everyone should be scared for their job. But got to go to work. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and go Jets.